Welcome back to the Tasty Cooking Creations channel. Have you ever pondered about making delectable Korean BBQ tacos right in your own kitchen? In today's episode, we're exploring a culinary fusion that merges the robust flavors of Korean barbecue with the homely feel of authentic Mexican taco. And guess what? It's a simple, enjoyable process that you can effortlessly execute in your home kitchen. Envision the sizzle of the grill, the aroma of marinated meat, and the fulfillment of crafting a homemade feast. Are you prepared to set off on this gastronomic journey? Let's dive right in. First things first, gather all the necessary ingredients. To make these tantalizing Korean BBQ tacos, we need a variety of ingredients, each bringing its own unique flavor to the table. Let's start with the star of the show, the meat. For this recipe, we'll be using boneless short ribs, known as galbi in Korean. This cut of meat is tender, flavorful, and grills beautifully. Next up, we have the marinade, which is the secret behind the rich, sweet, and savory flavor of Korean BBQ. It's a blend of soy sauce, brown sugar, sesame oil, garlic, and ginger. We'll also be adding in some Asian pear. This might seem unusual, but the pear acts as a tenderizer and adds a hint of sweetness to the marinade. For the taco fillings, we're going to use a colorful array of vegetables. Think fresh lettuce, thinly sliced red onions, and vibrant red bell peppers. We'll also be adding in some traditional Korean ingredients like kimchi, which adds a spicy, tangy kick, and samjang, a thick, spicy paste that's a staple in Korean cuisine. Now let's talk about the tortillas. We're going to use small, soft flour tortillas, which are perfect for holding all our delicious fillings. If you're feeling adventurous, you could even try making your own. To top off our tacos, we'll be making a simple but irresistible sauce. A combination of mayonnaise, lime juice, and a touch of honey gives us a creamy, tangy, and slightly sweet sauce that ties all the flavors together beautifully. And finally, for a little extra crunch and a pop of color, we'll be sprinkling over some sesame seeds and chopped fresh cilantro. So there you have it, a collection of ingredients that, when combined, create a fusion of flavors that's nothing short of extraordinary. From the tender, marinated meat to the spicy kimchi and the creamy sauce, each element plays a crucial role in making these tacos a culinary delight. Got everything? Excellent. On to the next step. The heart and soul of Korean BBQ tacos lies in its marinade. Our journey to Flavortown begins with a powerful and aromatic marinade. This is the magic potion that transforms our humble meat into a succulent, finger-licking delight. So let's get started. We'll start with a base of soy sauce. It's a quintessential element in Korean cuisine, providing a rich, umami depth of flavor. It's the backbone of our marinade, the canvas on which we paint our masterpiece. Next, we add in some brown sugar. This will balance out the saltiness of the soy sauce and help to create a beautiful caramelization on our meat as it cooks. Think of it as the sweet whisper to our marinade's savory roar. Now we introduce garlic and ginger. The garlic brings a punchy, aromatic kick, while the ginger offers a subtle heat and a zingy freshness. Together, they're like the rhythm section in a band, driving the beat of our flavor symphony. A dash of sesame oil is next. This oil, with its unique nutty flavor, is like the secret handshake of Korean cooking. Just a small amount, and it gives our marinade that unmistakable Asian twist. Then we bring in the heat. Gochujang, a Korean chili paste, is the firecracker of our marinade. It adds a spicy kick that makes our BBQ tacos not just a meal, but an experience. Finally, we whisk in some rice vinegar. This is our marinade's encore, the finishing touch. It adds a tangy brightness that lifts all the other flavors, making them sing. It's like the cherry on top of our marinade sundae. Once all our ingredients are in the bowl, we give it a good whisk. We want to make sure everything is well incorporated, that each ingredient is getting to know the others, forming a harmonious blend of flavors. And there you have it, our marinade is ready, a complex symphony of flavors just waiting to transform our meat into a culinary masterpiece. Marinade prepared? Let the meat soak up all that goodness. It's time to let the meat bask in the glorious marinade. Now, marinating isn't just about letting the meat sit in the sauce. It's an art. You are infusing the meat with a symphony of flavors, giving it depth and character. So, how do we do it right? First, ensure that the meat is fully immersed in the marinade. This way, every inch gets to soak up the flavors. Give it a good mix, making sure the marinade is evenly distributed. Next, let's talk timing. For optimal flavor absorption, a minimum of 2 hours is recommended. But if you've got time, overnight marination works wonders. It allows the flavors to penetrate deeper, resulting in a meat that's flavorful to the core. Remember, patience is key here. The longer you marinate, the richer the taste. Now, while our star ingredient is marinating, let's get our taco fillings ready. A good taco is all about balance, and the fillings play a crucial role in achieving that. Let's dive into the world of fillings. Our Korean BBQ tacos will feature a delightful trio of fillings: pickled red onions, fresh cilantro, and a zesty lime crema. Each of these fillings will bring something special to our tacos, whether it's a pop of color, a burst of flavor, or a creamy contrast to our marinated meat. Our first filling, pickled red onions, are a revelation. They're tangy and sweet, and their vibrant pink color makes them visually stunning. To prepare them, thinly slice a red onion and place it in a jar. In a saucepan, combine vinegar, a touch of sugar, and a pinch of salt. Bring this mixture to a simmer, then pour it over the sliced onions. Let it sit for at least an hour and you have your pickled red onions. Next, we have fresh cilantro. This herb is a staple in many cuisines, and for a good reason. Its bright citrusy flavor is the perfect complement to our deeply savory Korean BBQ meat. Just give it a rough chop and it's ready to go. Now, let's talk about our lime crema. This is a creamy, tangy sauce that will add a refreshing twist to our tacos. Start with some sour cream in a bowl. Grate in the zest of a lime, then squeeze in its juice. Add a pinch of salt, give it a good stir, and voila! Lime crema. Every element of our fillings, the crunch and tang of pickled onions, the freshness of the cilantro, and the zest of the lime crema, will work together to create a symphony of flavors and textures. They are more than just toppings. They are crucial players in the world of our Korean BBQ tacos. Fillings ready? Excellent! Let's move on to cooking the meat. Now it's time to bring our marinated meat to life. To achieve that perfect balance of tenderness and flavor, we'll be grilling our meat on high heat. This will not only sear the outside, creating a beautifully caramelized crust, but it will also lock in all of the juices and flavors that we've been marinating our meat in. Remember, the key to a good Korean BBQ is the charred, smoky flavor that comes from grilling, so don't shy away from those high temperatures. Start by preheating your grill or skillet over high heat. Once it's nice and hot, lay your marinated meat on the grill. The sizzle you hear is the sound of deliciousness in the making. Let it cook undisturbed for a few minutes. This will allow the meat to develop a nice sear and those desirable grill marks. Now here's a crucial part. While it might be tempting to flip the meat too soon or too often, resist that urge. Patience is a virtue in the kitchen, and this is especially true when grilling meat. Allow the meat to cook for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. This will ensure it's cooked through, yet still juicy and tender. During the cooking process, you may also brush the meat with some leftover marinade to keep it moist and to add an extra layer of flavor. Just be sure not to use the marinade that the raw meat was sitting in. We want to avoid any potential cross-contamination. As the meat is cooking, you'll notice the sugars in the marinade starting to caramelize, forming a beautiful, delicious crust on the outside of the meat. The aroma of the grilling meat mingling with the sweet and savory marinade is simply irresistible. Once the meat is done, remove it from the grill and let it rest for a few minutes. This will allow the juices to redistribute throughout the meat, ensuring every bite is as juicy and flavorful as possible. Smell that? That's the aroma of perfectly cooked Korean BBQ. With all our components ready, it's time to assemble our Korean BBQ tacos. Let's start off with our tortillas. You can go for either soft or hard shell tacos, depending on your preference. Soft shell tortillas give a nice contrast to the crispiness of the meat, while hard shell tacos add an extra crunch to every bite. Warm them up a bit on a pan for that extra touch of coziness. Next up, the fillings. Begin with a spread of your homemade Korean BBQ sauce on the tortilla. This is the heart of our taco, adding that sweet and savory flavor that makes Korean BBQ so unique. The sauce should be evenly spread, ensuring every bite is packed with flavor. Then let's add our freshly chopped veggies. Red and green cabbage, thinly sliced, provide a refreshing crunch and a pop of color. Don't forget the thinly sliced carrots and radishes. They add a nice contrast and a sharp bite. These veggies not only add texture, but they also balance out the rich flavors of the meat and the sauce. Now, for the star of the show, the marinated and grilled meat. Layer the juicy, tender pieces evenly across the tortilla. The smoky aroma and flavors of the meat, combined with the sauce and veggies, will create a symphony of taste in your mouth. Top it off with a sprinkle of chopped cilantro and a squeeze of lime. The cilantro adds a burst of freshness while the lime gives it a tangy kick. This is the perfect finishing touch that ties all the flavors together. Lastly, fold your taco carefully. making sure not to let any of the delicious fillings escape. Hold it confidently and get ready for the first bite. The mix of flavors and textures, the sweet, the savory, the tangy, and the crunchy, all in one bite, is a culinary experience you don't want to miss. And there you have it, your very own homemade Korean BBQ tacos. Now, wasn't that an enjoyable culinary journey? We've navigated the vibrant world of Korean cuisine and blended it with the hearty comfort of a Mexican staple. We started with a simple list of ingredients, which we transformed into a mouth-watering meal. From preparing the marinade with its intricate balance of sweet, salty, and spicy, to marinating the meat, infusing it with deep, savory flavors. We then prepared the fillings, an assortment of fresh and pickled vegetables that added a delightful crunch and tang. Afterward, we cooked the meat, letting it sizzle and caramelize to perfection. And finally, we assembled our tacos, layering each component to create a symphony of flavors and textures in every bite. But remember, this recipe is just a guide. Feel free to customize it to your liking. Perhaps you want to experiment with different types of meat or add your favorite sauces or toppings. Or maybe you want to go vegetarian and replace the meat with tofu or mushrooms. The possibilities are endless. The beauty of cooking is the freedom it gives us to be creative and adventurous. So why take this recipe and make it your own? And if you're new to cooking, don't be intimidated. Start with this recipe, and before you know it, be creating your own culinary masterpieces. Remember, the best food is the food you make yourself. So go on, give these Korean BBQ tacos a try, and enjoy the fusion of flavors. And before we conclude, be sure to subscribe to our Tasty Cooking Creations channel for more delectable and unique recipes.